Good morning, Wayfam from Paris.
I'm Ashley, this is my husband Josh and our friend Laura. Welcome to our channel.
We sold everything we had to travel the world and now we want to share with you the way away.
So be sure to subscribe down below, hit the little like and that little bell so you can follow our adventures.
Let's go. Our Airbnb is right next to the Assemblée Nationale, and we are headed out now for a tour with My Private Paris on Montmartre. I'm mashing my words because I don't speak French, but Montmartre. There's a TRE at the end and it's very French to say, I can't say it. But we're grabbing the metro now, and we're gonna have a gay old time. One of the cool things about My Private Paris is that you can create custom tours of Paris. They have packages as well, but we decided to do a custom tour of Montmartre, and we're gonna check it out because that's like one of the most iconic, cool places in Paris, aside from like the Eiffel Tower and other things. So we're gonna finally explore the area, and Ashley is finally gonna get to see her Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Tour guides. We get two tour guides today. One of them is going to take us around the Montmartre area, which is kind of like a hidden gem in Paris. And then the other is going to take us to the Arc de Triomphe, where we're going to get a history lesson and a beautiful view.
What is interesting about it is when they started it, the idea was for the women to be really free to do whatever they wanted. You know, it was entertainment like we never saw it before.
Alright, we are leaving the busy main street behind and headed up deeper into Montmartre proper. As you can see, the Moulin Rouge isn't incredibly impressive during the daytime, but rest assured at night, it's really cool. We were told that originally back in the day, the Moulin Rouge was so popular because when it started, it was this crazy new thing. Like, it was a freak show, essentially. People would go there to see something crazy and weird. And you know, over time, it became a tourist thing, and now Parisians don't really go there themselves very much. But I've heard it's still pretty cool to go check out if you're into that sort of thing.
When we were in Amsterdam, Laura and I, on a day off where we didn't film, we went to the Van Gogh Museum, and so I learned so much about Van Gogh, and actually I really like him. I like his story of his life. He seems like such a personable man. That apartment back there is where he lived with his brother Theo for 2 years, and here in Montmartre was like the artists area where Van Gogh lived, and so many other artists who grew to be so famous. Picasso came during that time. It's so cool to know the community that these artists had in this area, and just the, what is it, like
Bohemian? Is that what you're looking for?
Not bohemian, but the inspiration they got from each other and helped each other. Like in the museum, I learned so much about how the artists would send each other their drawings and paintings, and then they would give each other critiques and then send it back.
Oh, cool.
Like such a cool community among them. And then Theo, his brother, he sent letters to Theo constantly because he just had such a good relationship with his brother. And actually his brother's wife is the one who made him famous by selling his paintings and making sure that they got out into the world, because both his brother and he died before he was even known by anyone.
Nowadays, the artists' culture has moved away from Montmartre a little bit, and you have more of like designers and painters, that sort of thing. So less musicians and writers, and you have a different class of art kind of coming to the area.
People who are like have more money, richer, because it's not such a poor area like it was back in the day.
So it's definitely a bit more gentrified, you could say, but there's still a lot going on here, and the area is just sort of like, I don't know, like inspirational. Like people come here to work with people in their fields, like artistry and design, that sort of thing. It's got the same feel, it's just shifted a little bit.
I know for us, like it's so cool when we meet up with other YouTubers who understand us, who we can bounce ideas off of and learn from. And so I can totally imagine why living in a place like this among people who are passionate about the same things you are is really important and awesome.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Ice cream.
So these happen to be kind of non-conventional. It's not into the wedding path, or for example the
We've climbed up the hill to the Basilica Sacré-Coeur. If I'm saying that right, I'm not sure. It's got a great view of the area. Probably one of the most popular places to visit in Montmartre as a tourist. But just around the corner is a really unknown church that is, I heard, the oldest in Paris. Let's find out.
Inside that church is a statue of a saint that's very important here in France. His name is Saint Denis, and he actually was martyred on top of this hill. That's how Montmartre got its name. It's the Mount of Martyrs. Now the whole legend goes that this Catholic Christian priest was murdered by the Romans because he was trouble. He kind of caused a ruckus, but they decided to just chop his head off. So when they chopped his head off, he actually, the legend is, picked up his head with his headless body and held it for a while to prove his point, and then decided to lay down and die. Supposedly his head rolled down the hill down to a specific place where they bury all the kings now, but needless to say, whether or not it's true, it's a fun story and I love it. Legends like that. Also in this courtyard is this cemetery that only opens on All Saints Day. That's one day a year, November 2nd, which is coming up very soon, where they'll open this up so people can see inside. And supposedly, D'Artagnan, one of the alleged Three Musketeers family, is buried right in here.
Just kitty corner of that church we were just in is the painter's market. There's all local artists. They actually have to be from this neighborhood in order to paint there. They get 1 square meter to set up shop and sell stuff. A lot of really traditional stuff. I mean, we were told that people just don't buy the cool, abstract, fun, original stuff, although I saw some really cool stuff there that I liked. I just don't have money or space to put it. But if you want to come here and get something drawn by a Parisian who lives in this neighborhood of this area, great place to get completely original artwork. Cut across town now. Montmartre is over, done, finito, and we are coming to the Arc de Triomphe. So just say it Frenchy sounding and you're in the right place. Along with the tour comes tickets to get inside the Arc de Triomphe, and we are currently headed up the 284 steps to the top. Now, commonly you might believe that Napoleon built the Arc de Triomphe, and that's kind of true. He started it. He promised his soldiers they would return to Paris under Arches of Triumph, and well, he was overthrown and exiled before that was completed. And it took many, many years for the King of Paris to then commission this to be finished and built and turned into a memorial to all the soldiers who have fought for France. And not only that, but the carvings on the outside tell the story of the fall and the rebirth of Paris through those tepid times like 1700s and such. Really cool, but now I'm out of breath and we're gonna continue this at the top. At 48 meters, this was previously the world's largest Arc of Triumph until recently Kim Jong-il of North Korea said, "No, I'm gonna make one bigger." And now there's one in North Korea that's just bigger than that. We won't talk about that one though.
We have two large parks on the sides of Paris. Paris is too dense to have big park. The organization of the city is as concentric circles. Okay? And then we have what we call a starry map, which is having plaza with big landmarks, like the Arch of Triomphe, Notre Dame Cathedral, etc., etc. And at the end of every avenue, an avenue is here to connect one landmark to another one. So it's a bit like a spider web with concentric circles and then avenues to get inside.
So our guide was just telling us that later in the afternoon is the best time to come up here to the Arc of Triumph because you get the beautiful views with the sun being in the right spot to get some really nice shadows and the light really nice. He said in the morning time, your pictures just aren't as good. We have ended our tour. The tour was really cool. The tour guides were super like personable, and we were talking about how cool it is like to use my private Paris as like a family, so that you can get tours and skip the lines, which is a huge deal. We didn't have to stand in the line at all. We just automatically got the tickets. Josh was just talking about how he felt like he could be friends with the guides.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Bertrand, I'm trying to say your name right, so Bertrand. Thank you so much.
They both were so great. Yeah. It was really fun.
And it was really cool because I felt like they had an answer for things, like a real answer. Like if you had a question, they would present an idea and then you could open it up with more questions if you had them.
So the way they work is you let them know what you want to see and they will create a tour around that. We let them know that we wanted to go to Montmartre because we had never been there. And so when we were there, it wasn't like full of a lot of historical facts, but then when we showed interest in the historical facts and asked questions, we got answers, which was really, really neat. So thank you so much to My Private Paris. If you want to create your own tour when you're in Paris, say you have 24 hours here and you want to see as much as you can, the link is down below to help you guys out on your trip here.
What an awesome day. We saw so much of the city. We learned so much. I basically made friends with my tour guides, at least in my heart. I felt like, I mean, honestly, like I really felt like we got to know them a little bit. What more can you take away from this other than it was an amazing day in Paris and you should do any of these things today. As always, links are in the description down below for anything we've done. You can check it all out. Thank you so much to My Private Paris for the tour. I hope we encouraged you to get out there and travel today, and we'll see you in the next video. Au revoir.
Ciao.
À demain.